already earlier in this week. We'll see manifesting, and we also have some signals that are shaping up today. So we need to get through today, and as of once we're done and we hit tomorrow, we'll know whether they get triggered or they don't get triggered. So just in case you want to know what kind of signals we're talking about high probable Japanese candlestick patterns. And there's a book actually entitled High Probable Japanese Candlestick Patterns available on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle version. And through it, you can utilize the best buy and sell patterns used for over 400 years to give yourself a competitive edge against the markets and the Forex, the futures, the options, the stocks, you name it. So with that, let's go to our live action screen here at forex-trading-unlocked.com. We already have the screen blown up here. We have the workstation page pulled up. We're going to go just blow past the numbers, and we're going to take a look at what's going on in the Euro US dollar. Now, as you can see, we have it marked as a potential sell signal forming. We have broken the trend to the upside here. As you can see, we had downward sloping resistance that was helping this market kind of wedge. And then we also had this upward sloping support that was also helping this market wedge. We had come through that a couple sessions ago, and we continued rallying. Now, we had this buy signal of last week that had manifested a nice little corrective move to the upside, and now it has run its course, and today reversed gears. So we are no longer in those trades. Right now we're waiting for today's session to end, and then we will figure out whether we are going to be getting into new trades or if we're just going to wait for a signal to still occur. So right now we do have a potential sell signal shaping up in the Euro US dollar. We're keying off the last higher move high here, or this last swing high here at $1.1153, and the last swing low here at $1.0768. Within this range, we're looking for sideways trading to just continue right now as the markets start to stabilize. At least that's what we think is going on, because we have Europe supposedly and the EU coming out of their lockdowns and what have you, and we'll see how things go. If this is the case and they really are going into a situation where they're coming out of lockdown and resuming back to normal life, then we probably in the U.S. are not that far behind the curve. Remember, we have a much bigger country than the EU, and we're spread out in different ways than they are. But right now, we do have a sell signal. Our original Euro US dollar long that we had been riding this week, if you watched our prior videos, we are out with a nice little profit. Nothing crazy, but considering how the volatility has been lately, it's still a nice move, but nothing like what is going on over the past month. But a winner is a winner, and right now we're waiting for the next trade. So will it be a sell signal? I don't know. We shall see. Right now, this market has made on an intraday basis, has been making higher move highs and higher move lows. But we had made this swing high up here. We made a higher move high, lower move low, lower move high, higher move low. Now we're making, I don't know, is this a lower move high? We'll have to see. We'll have to key off of today's high to let us know whether or not we are moving out of this phase. So we shall see. Let's make this here. This will be level here right at around the 109.92 area. So we have to wait for today to get through this trading, and we'll find out. Now let's look at the British pound US dollar. So the Euro US dollar, which is the biggest weight in the dollar index, is lower, giving the dollar a little push, a little boost today. The same is for the pound. They've come off their lows. They're right around 50% of the range. Now, interestingly enough, the market had made higher move highs over the past few sessions, but it's kind of setting up for a sideways trade. Remember, downward sloping resistance. This trend has been lower. We are in a corrective rally. It looks like it's starting to lose momentum, and we do have a potential sell signal forming here. And if we do fail, now here's the nice thing is, let's just say this market falls apart today and starts to follow through to the downside, confirming a sell signal. Well, then it's very likely that we will test this support here right around $1.2159. Just because the mere fact is that the steepness of this trend that has been holding this current rally in place, it's starting to run out of gas. So if this is the case, we're either heading into sideways to neutral territory, or we could even be becoming a bear short term. So we'll see how things have to manifest. Remember, we don't want to get in front of these signals. The day is not over yet. The European markets are now closed. We're all on the U.S. trading. Halfway through the trading session, we're right here in front of lunchtime. There's a lot of hours left to go in the middle of the week as we start to turn our way towards the downward path of the week, heading into Thursday and Friday sessions. So right now, we don't want to second guess. We don't want to be a fortune teller and say this signal is going to happen. We have to wait until it does happen before we act. Remember, be disciplined. Don't try and jump in front of this trade, because if you try and sell this right now and a signal doesn't form, then you're selling it into a loser, and that's something we don't want you to do. So please be mindful. Right now, the dollar is gaining strength in the dollar index because it is up versus the euro and the pound. Oops, we put in the wrong signal here. CHF. Now let's see what the Swissy is doing. Dollar Swiss. Also, we had a trade going on from last week into today. We reversed gears, or actually, excuse me, we had been stopped out of that with a nice little profit. We had been short. If you look at our videos from the rest of the week, from earlier in the week, you will see that we had been riding those trades. Right now, there's nothing to look at because we're flat. So we have nothing on. We're waiting for signals to occur, and then after today's session, hopefully we'll have something for tomorrow. But right now, we have another market with a potential buy signal forming. So right now, we have a buy signal in the U.S. dollar Swiss form, or excuse me, obviously U.S. dollar Swiss forming. We have a sell signal in the euro U.S. dollar, and we have a sell signal in the pound U.S. dollar. So these are all bullish the dollar and short the other major European currency crosses. Now this market had already fallen through this steep support that was holding up this trend, and you can see that it's being contained by the downward sloping resistance right here. So the question is this buy signal going to all of a sudden reverse gears and have us break through this downward sloping resistance, or are we just going to go sideways or continue to hit support? Well, once again, we do not want to get in front of this trade. We are waiting for the signal to form. If it does form, let's just say that today was a snapshot and this is exactly where it was, then you would use the low from today as your guidance for using your risk. Right now, we're looking at the wider parameters. This market could be set for sideways for the next few weeks, to be quite honest with you. So the swing trades that we've been getting with these nice moves and volatility may start to wind down. We don't know yet, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Right now, we have gotten out of our trade that we've been riding from last week. We had a successful signal here. We would rally. We caught this rallied up. Then we reversed gears, and then we caught this sell signal. We got a nice little move here. Not as much as the volatility that we had seen back in March, but you know what? This is the way it is. We're back to more of a reality. It is what it is. You take what the market gives you, and that's what we did. So now we're going to wait, and if you just are curious about our signals and what have you, and if you want to see what we have done, you can always go to our website, www.forex-trading-unlocked.com. You go all the way up top here to the head of the nav bar, hit the Forex signals button right here. This will bring you to our page that you can then access onto the live site for where you can get the stats for where we're at. So, or you can follow our email list, and you'll know exactly when these trades are going off and stuff because we post the videos for it. Okay, so with that being said, we've given you a nice clear-cut view of where the dollar is right now. The dollar is in corrective mode. It is gaining strength versus the major currency crosses. Now let's see what it's doing with the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. We are getting other signals across, the potential signals forming across the board. And they're all being dollar bulls and opposite for the other currency cross reflective currencies. So right now you have the US dollar yen. This is also kind of settling into a sideways trade. Should the market settle where it is today, it is a short-term weak buy signal here, so I don't want to really get into the potential of this one yet until we get a confirmation tomorrow. Should we get let's say the market settles where it's at right now, and then tomorrow if we have a positive day once again, then that would be a very good indication, because that would be called a 3 inside up buy pattern. Considering we did make a lower move low today, we took out the low from here, so if we get that, that would be a buy pattern. But we need one more day for this to manifest. Now, one thing that could help to give this trade some guidance over the next 2 days is the fact that in this same area of the world, we have the Australian dollar, US dollar, that is definitely setting up for a bearish engulfing line sell signal. As you can see, it's had a very nice corrective run up. It is just falling shy of this downward sloping resistance, holding this trend intact. And if you really took out this erroneous day that we had with this monster, I mean, the high wasn't that spiky here, but you see how it went this low, still settled low, and this was this last swing high before we really took a slide in this market. So let's just say we went to the day before and we lowered that a little bit. You know, that would be something where if you see how this goes right here, you came down, and if we took this, let's see, let's just move this down to here. So if you did that, we would already be running into that. So we're going to keep this up here where it's at. So as you can see through this illustration, we butt up basically against key resistance, holding this trend intact with a sell signal forming here. Now remember, this could chilly change. This market could be higher on the day over the next couple hours. We're only halfway through the U.S. session. But if these bears, especially if they pound through and settle lower on these towards the lows of the day, or make newer lows, and we settle below this line that's holding up the uptrend, then you have us bouncing off of the resistance line, also taking out the support line with a bearish engulfing line sell signal that will have then been confirmed. Obviously, this has to happen hours from now, but should that be the case, then that yields this downward target zone, ironically being that the upper part of this target zone is right where this swing low is. Should we hit into this downside target zone, could we blow through it and this pound support? Absolutely. Could we bounce there? Well, that's most likely what we'd be looking for with the trade. We definitely would be looking to take profits here. But this would be a very touch and go thing. Should we take out this swing low, then that sets us up to be in a sell rally forecast where it'll be a good place to maybe take off profits and look for selling opportunities once again as the Australian dollar, US dollar maintains a neutral to bearish posture. But right now, we're just looking for the trade. We're not looking to try and figure out what's going to happen over the next few months. We're just trying to act on this potential signal. So we have to wait for today to finish. Another thing that supports this signal, and this is what's really nice, is all these currencies right now today are kind of coming in line to where either they're trading in tandem or they're divert in a totally opposite trade, but where they're all coming to basically a friction point where the dollar seems to want to take a turn. And it seems like dollar strength is where it is. So here we have, once again, this market fell short just like the other one did. But look at this. If we come down to the downward sloping resistance right there and take out that erroneous high, this one falls just short of it as well. So this is helping to secure us in the fact that the downward trend is in place. We have, in the short run, we had made a lower move high, a higher move low, a higher move high, which makes us neutral. But now, as I said once again, we fell just shy of this downward sloping resistance. We have a bearish engulfing line sell signal that is forming. Should it settle where it's at now or lower, it confirms this signal. And also, that would also have us settling below this upward sloping line that has been maintaining the short-term uptrend. So all of these things spell sell, sell, sell. Now, am I telling you to do that? Absolutely not. However, if you are long this market, now is probably a good time to start to look to raise your stops and look to take some profits. And if you're an aggressive bear right now, here's the thing: is don't get in front of this signal. Wait until the close of today, but at least you know your risk is right at the previous high from yesterday. That being said, should these all confirm together at one point, this would really, really help to solidify our other trades. So the question is, which ones do you take? The main thing is for your less experienced traders, please trade the majors. They're more liquid. Your potential for reward may be a little bit less because you're not going to get quite the momentum. Sorry for not getting that phone. I should have had that off before we started the webinar, but what can we do? There's somebody else that was supposed to be stopping that. So today it's actually not my fault. I get to blame someone else. No big deal. Anyhow, so besides sound effects aside, we have these trades that are forming. Now let's go and see what's going on with some of our lesser majors. So let's look at the US dollar TRY. Why are we going to the US dollar TRY? Well, I'll tell you why. When you look at the coronavirus totals, Turkey and Iran continue to climb the totals. So this trend here has been very steep for the US dollar Turkish lira. This takes deep pockets. This market swings. I'll tell you what, this thing, look at this, just from March into the middle of April, we're here. We're at, at 602, and now we're at 690. This is a very big move. I would not get in front of this freight train. Buying dips is the way to go. You can see how this market, even here, it tried to come back on support. Boom. We had multiple sell signals that failed. I just want to let you know. We had this one here. It only lasted for 2 sessions before it came back in our faces. Then we had this one over here. This one here lasted 2 sessions, and boom, it came back in our faces. Then we had this one here that didn't even last that. We had one sell signal here. It came, and from the get-go, from it when it was initiated, it has not looked back yet. This is telling you the momentum is extreme in this. If you're already on this trade and you're in it, enjoy it, ride it, go for it. If you're not, I have to tell you, you'd wait for a break to buy, that's for sure. And when will that occur? I don't know, especially with right now. If the US dollar is a bull and it starts to turn with these other currencies, you could see the US dollar Turkish lira literally up above the $7 mark. So I don't know for sure, this momentum will maintain itself for the next couple sessions. But with the fundamentals, with the coronavirus in place and the way it's going, as long as those totals, until that curve starts to flatten out in Iran, and especially obviously in Turkey, the reason I keep mentioning Iran is because their borders are so close with certain countries where there's a lot of flow of people that they can't necessarily keep under wraps. And that being said, and especially because of certain other social mores and norms, they're not following social distancing and things that help to keep the curve flat, at least not as steep as it is right now. So remember, this bull is raging. This is one where the U.S. dollar, you can see that it is going very, very strong. Another reason we talk about one of these lesser currencies is because these things are going on in a lot of these countries still, and they are not flattening out yet. Mexico is another case where just a week and a half ago, there was under 1,000 cases in Mexico. Now, as of yesterday, there was just under 6,000. I don't know what the totals are today. I could pull it up on our, we have a tracker from Google that we check every day. I didn't want to have it in today's video just because I don't like to sensationalize the fears. But the fundamental is there. So today we have follow through. We had a bullish engulfing line buy signal that occurred on Monday. Today we have nice follow through to the upside. We are targeting this zone up here of 24.49 to 24.79 pesos to the dollar. Now, here's the thing about this trade is once you hit this target zone, for those of you who have taken the trade, this is our exit point. This market could continue to go higher, or it could come lower. Now, here's something I want you to take into account. Let's just say that the U.S. dollar really is becoming a bull. Well, then it has a really good shot at making higher move highs above this past swing high around 25.80 pesos to the dollar. Now, what happens, let's just say, for hypothetical sake, that this is our current uptrend, okay? If we hit our target zone here and we fall short of this upper swing high here, what does that have us doing? That has us almost like a head and shoulder forming. Like right now, we have our shoulder here, we have our head here, and we have a potential of a shoulder forming here. So should we get this trade and this rally manifest itself, hits our target zone, we have to be very cautious with this one, because if right now the U.S. dollar is just getting a short-term little boost, a little correction before the other currencies gain strength again, well then we're setting this market up for a head and shoulders, which could definitely, if we were to hit this target zone, take out this neckline, let alone take out this last swing low here, higher swing low, that would be very, very bearish for this market, just because of the consolidation, head and shoulders formation on top of that would, probably have us in a mode where, are we going all the way back to 18 pesos? I don't know. Probably not. I really wouldn't think that that's going to be the case. But remember, this has been such an extreme run-up that happened in March. We started to consolidate. And should we form a head and shoulders here, and especially if we run out of gas in our upside target zone here, then I would be very mindful about longs here. So I would say it's probably going to become skittish with longs. In shorts, there's going to be some opportunities, but remember, I would wait until you get confirmation. I'd be careful about trying to sell into this upside target zone, because if we breach this high here, then the head and shoulders is off the table. And this market could scream up to 26, 27 pesos to the dollar before it starts to even, base and look for a turn in the market again. Remember, we got to watch these totals. If the peso rallied, or the dollar rallied against the peso this much over the past month and a half, and Mexico had next to no cases, and now you're looking going back to when this peaked right here, right around here is when there was less than 1,000 cases. Now within just a week, going to where it's at now, it's gone to just under 6,000, so that's a big percentage jump in what's going on. Hopefully this curve flattens, but if that's not the case, remember that this is going to most likely resume the dollar trend. So there's right now interesting scenarios shaping up there. Then we have the U.S. dollar Canada, which right now we have a bullish engulfing line, buy signal forming. It is on the highs, pressing through highs once again as we talk right now. This one really is confirming dollar strength in some of our lesser, besides our lesser currency crosses. This is one of our major currency crosses, but one of the smaller ones, obviously. and it's already unwinding in a big way here. So big money seems to be buying dollars and riding that trend. And this also took out the downward sloping resistance that have been holding this trend intact. Now, we did solidify 2 days ago. We made a lower move low after having made a lower move high. The lower move high, ironically, comes right into our target zone. So are we looking for a major rally here in the US dollar Canada? No, we're looking for it we want this signal to hit this target zone. Once it does, then the trade is over. Does that mean it's not going to keep on rallying? No. Does it mean it's going to reverse gears and come back and nail its support? Maybe. We don't know. Right now, we're looking for the close of today, especially if it's settled like this right now. That confirms our target, and then we have $1.42 up to $1.42.54 up to $1.43.68 as our upside target zone, of which this swing high comes right into the top of our target zone. And this would be a nice place. Should we fail right here, what would that do? That would be a lower swing high after a lower move low, confirming our trend, being neutral to bearish. This might be a place for the dollar to run out of gas and all of a sudden, or we start to consolidate. It could be where we start to set the upper extreme here, and then we start to bobble and swing around in this wide range between $1.38 and $1.43. But we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We want to stay on track. We want to pay attention to the signals at hand, be disciplined, and monitor those things. So we're looking for the close today. If it was, like I said, to settle like it is now, or definitely around this area, and especially above this downward sloping resistance line, that confirms a bullish engulfing line buy signal, and then boom, we're looking for the market to gravitate up towards this target area over the next 3 to 5 sessions. Now, we got to be careful with options in this because unless you're using futures options, binary options, and weekly options are going to run out by Friday. So we're not going to have a lot of trades to choose from for those. So we have to wait and see where the pricing is and where the moves are, and we'll see if there's any opportunities with that. That'll be covered in our next video. But let's go back to our Euro US dollar once again. So this is one of our major currency crosses versus the dollar. This one was the one that really started the move earlier this morning and in this session. As you can see, as we've been talking, the market is starting to fall back on support. It's right around unchanged on the day and in the lower part of the trading range from today, and getting ready to, I guess, pound support once again. So we'll see how it goes. We don't want to get in front of these trades. Remember, if you want to learn how to trade, all of these are high probable Japanese candlestick patterns, and you can learn how to use these patterns by reading the book, High Probable Japanese Candlestick Patterns, available on Amazon.com on Kindle and paperback version. And remember, this works in futures markets, Forex markets, stock markets, option markets, you name it. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you know when we go live with our next video, which is going to be covering these signals. So if you want to know whether we're in or whether we're out, how to trade these signals and what's going on, then you want to pay attention to our next video. So please subscribe to our channel. Let all your friends know in the markets too what's going on, because the next one is going to be an interesting one. Well, unless all these signals don't occur. However, we already got a couple that, I mean, honestly, let's go back to the US dollar Canada. Not to hint, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, and remember, you may get a better chance to buy this later on in a little bit of a profit taking, and then follow through will come later if the signal is good. So US dollar Canada, look at this bad boy here. Bullish engulfing line buy signal. It's forming. Read the book. High probable Japanese candlestick patterns. So I had to pull this back up here once again. Double check this one here. Bullish engulfing line, buy signal forming. Read the book, learn how to trade it, and then you'll be able to take advantage of these opportunities as well every time they happen, whether it's in the currency markets, whatever markets. Like I said, you know what to do. So once again, thank you very much. This is Teddy Keckstedt from Forex Trading Unlocked. Check us out every day at www.forex-trading-unlocked.com, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Forex Trading Unlocked. You have a great day and pay attention.